Today I'm going to talk about something that's quite important and quite vital, and it's how to release our inner chatterbox. Now that is the title, and you're probably thinking like, okay, like what does that mean? I mean, it is what it says, how to release your inner chatterbox, which is essentially how to be confident, how to be yourself when presenting yourself publicly. So when often I'll do presentations, I would literally spend hours, I will spend days and weeks often to prepare a presentation. I will practice, rewrite, redo. I just had this idea that I had to get it right. I would often practice to my mum, my sisters, to my husband, and we know that obviously sometimes ladies, when we do try to talk to men, they can get very distracted. So sometimes that didn't work. And if they weren't available, I'm sure, quite frankly, I'll talk to practice to my little one. I just had this idea that it had to be perfect. I had to hit every point on the head. There was no room for failure. But before I even reached that platform, if I was doing a public talk, or before I even met that individual, I had already created such pressure for myself. I mean, forget the people that I was delivering to, forget the individual that I was meeting. I didn't have to rely on them to create that pressure. I did it for myself. I had already become my greatest critic, and at times my greatest bully. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that in so many circumstances in life. So I had to take a pause, and when I was planning a presentation at some point, I had to take a pause and really just think, like, what did I want to get from this? And the quote that comes to mind is, there is wisdom in the pause. So when I took that pause, it's like wisdom literally flooded me, and a word came to mind, and that word is authenticity. So being authentic to who Jade is. So what does authenticity mean? What does it mean to be authentic? So I'm going to read it. It means being true to your own personality, values and spirit, regardless of the pressure that you are under to act otherwise. So what is your personality? What excites you? What brings you joy? What qualifications do you have? Talents or even skills? What do you have to bring to that table? Who are you? Now I asked the question, who are you? Because essentially you are the one that's going to be presenting yourself. When we're giving public speeches or presentations, or we're meeting people face to face, mainly focusing on public speaking and presentations, we're often given a brief by that individual, and for example, the brief may be to speak on confidence. They don't often tell you how to present that. They may say, okay, we want it to be in the form of a PowerPoint presentation, but they don't tell you from A to B, like how to do that, what information to put, what videos to put, etc. And why is that? And I think the answer that springs to mind to me is that they believe in your capabilities. They believe that you are the right person for that job. They believe that you are more than qualified to deliver that. They believe that you are capable to deliver on that subject. And it's funny because often we have a lot of people around us who believe in our capabilities, but we struggle to believe in it ourselves. So when looking at public speaking, there's so many forms of public speaking. Like most people just relate it to, going on a platform, having a mic, etc. But there's so many forms nowadays. You've got like the 21st century form of public speaking that I call it, which is like social media. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And for example, now YouTube, I'm hoping to reach out to an audience. I'm hoping to speak to you guys. I'm hoping that you'll relate to me. You would want to listen to more of this. And same with Instagram and TikTok. We're hoping to reach out to an audience. And then you've got like the old school, the normal way, which is face to face. So you've got things like your work meetings, meeting someone at a networking event, family meetings, social gatherings, etc. And then when we look at like what the word public speaking means, because I think a lot of us just relate, as I said, to the podium, the mic. But when you look at the word, so public means to exist in open view in front of an audience. And speaking means the action of conveying information or expressing one's feelings. And take note that it doesn't say that an audience, it needs to be a specific size, so that could be an audience of 1 or 2. And giving information or expressing one's feelings in speech. So essentially we've all done a bit of public speaking, you know, when we've met people face to face, whether it's one or two people. But what causes us to be fearful when we're presenting ourselves publicly? Because that's essentially what I'm talking about, presenting ourselves publicly, whether it's on a podium or whether it's just meeting people. And unfortunately, it is that annoying small word that has 4 letters in it, but it's so impactful to many of us, and it's fear. Fear just can cripple us at times to allowing us to be our authentic self in situations when we're presenting ourselves publicly to others. So a lot of us have been through, obviously, the pandemic. It's caused us to feel isolated, and I went through a pandemic experience as well. You know, I had my little girl at the end of the pandemic, and a lot of things started to open up then, but still there were certain things that I would have loved to have that was still very restricted at the time. So for example, having more than one birthing partner in the birthing suite. You know, I would have loved to have my mum with us as well, and my husband only being allowed to be on the maternity ward for 2 hours a day. And I was literally in the maternity ward 6 days post-birth. So you can imagine how mentally distressing that would have been. And like myself, you know, a lot of other people experienced just distressing situations during the pandemic. Situations that have caused them to feel fear and to feel restricted in their abilities and their capabilities as a person. Alongside that, we all have pandemic-like situations that we've experienced. So situations that's caused us to feel isolated, feel alone. And that too has caused us to lack in our confidence, and has made us feel like we can't be ourselves. Like if we're just ourselves, maybe we won't be accepted. So how can we be authentic? How can we gain our authenticity back? And essentially I'm asking you, what sets you apart? So what skills do you have? What can you bring to that table? And I'm asking you to just be true to yourself. And you may be thinking, okay, well, how can I be true to myself, you know, when I'm with someone? That's such a vague statement to say. Well, for example, letting your interests shine, you know, your personality shine. If you're interested in art, creativity, etc., and you're just a naturally flowing, free-speaking person, let that flow in your conversations, in your presentation. You know, for example, if you're a creative individual, include videos, include sound, include, you know, things that keep it nice and creative and engaging. Share personal stories. Sometimes when you're meeting people, you know, of course, don't when you're meeting everyone and just say, oh, I went through this, I went through that. Gauge it, you know, make sure it's the right person to share with, because, you know, we're not always supposed to share with everybody. Not everyone needs to hear our story. By doing those things, you're remaining true to who you are, essentially. If you feel like life has really just impacted you, it's even to do those few things, remaining true to who you are, showing your personality. It's such a difficult thing to do. You know, because I know, you know, many of us have been through situations, so even for me to say those things to you is difficult in itself. So something that helped me during that time, when I just felt crippled, I felt like I just couldn't really release myself from the shackles of fear. I just literally, I know it's a very fake statement, but I faked it until I made it. Or another way of putting it is act it until you become it. Now I'll tell you a quick story. So when I was younger, I was really terrified of just being myself. I spoke when I was at home, but the moment I left that front door, I was just silent as a mouse. But then I realised when I wanted to go to university, I wanted to work, I realised that you actually had to talk to do those things. One word that my mum said to me that really helped me was act. So what does it mean to fake it until you make it, to act it until you become it? Because I feel like we've all heard this quote, but we've not actually drilled into it. Well, I know for myself, I haven't actually drilled into it to just figure out what it actually means. And it means to consciously cultivate an attitude, feeling, or perception of competence that you don't currently have by pretending you do until it becomes true. So I acted confident. I acted courageous. I acted bold. And it's funny because when I did those things, I started to see that not only did I start to feel great about myself, and I started to truly believe in my capabilities and my skills and the knowledge and everything that I had to bring to the table, but I started to see that people's perception of me changed. I started to believe in myself, and others also started to believe in me, in what I had to bring. And there's so much strength in talking confidently, talking as though you believe in what you're saying. And I'll show you a quick snippet, a quick video I'm not sure, I forgot the name of the individual, but it just shows you the power of confidence.
What? Oh, you all think smoking kills? Let me tell you something. Do you know that the amount of people dying from diabetes are 3 times as many people dying from smoking? Yet if I pulled a Snicker bar, nobody would say anything. Do you know that the leading cause of lung cancer is not actually a cigarette? It's your DNA. You could smoke for years and nothing will ever happen to you. This whole war against smoking is just to restrict the farming of tobacco. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I use these arguments, even though I just made them up, with a group of my friends. And the results, 5 of them believed what I said. 2 of them started smoking. Words, when said and articulated in the right way, can change someone's mind. They can alter someone's belief.
Words, when said and articulated in the right way, can change someone's mind. It can alter their belief. So what are you saying to yourself? What words are you articulating to yourself? How are you trying to alter your belief about who you are? And when trying to do these things, it does take long term, it does take a while. It's a long-term journey, and I know some people can heal their mind quicker than others. Others, like myself, it took me a while to get to where I am now. But be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Believe that you are worthy of this change and realign your thoughts. So for example, remember your strengths. Cancel any negative thoughts. So tell yourself no, tell yourself no. I know sometimes we don't like to hear that word from others, but it should be said to ourselves, because a lot of us say a lot of negative things to ourselves, and we just allow that thought to run until we end up creating multiple books and series in our mind about a situation that hasn't even happened. So just cancel those negative thoughts the moment it starts to manifest. Believe in yourself, in your abilities, in your knowledge, in your life experience. Be patient as you go through this journey. Offer yourself grace. Be kind, and just understand and know that it will not happen overnight. And if it does, great, amazing. But just have that understanding that it may not, and that's absolutely fine. So I started with lack of confidence. I was terrified to meet new people. I allowed fear to govern my life, and I would never speak publicly. You will never even see me behind this camera. But I had consciously cultivated an attitude, feeling, and perception of competence that I didn't have by pretending I did until it became true. And you can do the same. As I said, give yourself grace. It won't happen overnight. But the moment you practice and you put this into your everyday routine, you will soon become your authentic self, and you will feel the best for it. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please give it a like, share it if you feel like it's going to help someone else that you know, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.